Hi everyone, I'm Ron Cantor and you're watching Out of Zion on GODTV. Would you believe it if I told you that socialism helped young Israel survive? That was what I told a conservative talk show host some 30 years ago, and he simply could not believe it. Personally, I am a fan of the free market, but about 40 years before Israel became a nation, they realized that the only way they could survive was to start collective farms where everything was equal. They called these farms kibbutzim. When the Jews returned to the Promised Land, it had been badly neglected by the Ottoman Empire and the Arabs who lived there. It was unfarmable. In the south, rocks had to be cleared, and in the north, malaria-infested swamps had to be drained. The Jewish people worked together for the common good. Degania, from the Hebrew word for grain, was the very first kibbutz located at the southern end of the Sea of Galilee. In fact, we are filming in Degania right now. The idea of reclaiming the soil had become something of a religion for the early Jewish chalutzim, or pioneers. The young men and women came mostly from Eastern Europe. They were not used to physical labor and knew very little about agriculture. But they had memorized the prophecies about rebuilding the land. They overcame these odds to create the foundation for Israel's booming agriculture. Israel is famous for her creativity, but few people believe that you could grow potatoes in the desert. Kibbutz Yotvata, after failing with fruits and vegetables, determined to grow, yes, potatoes. They were told it wouldn't work, and yet 60 years later, it is one of their main products. By bringing the Jewish people back to this barren land, the Lord would test His people. It would take faith. Author Moshe Kapinski says, God says, I'm going to do something miraculous. I'm going to create a land that even though the climate issues don't call for it, it's going to be a land that's going to be filled with dates and honey and also with milk, so that you'll know that nothing in this land comes here except when it's for me. Is that not what we see in scriptures? Did not God say that the desert will blossom like a rose? Isaiah predicted that, quote, Israel shall blossom and bud and fill the face of the earth with fruit. And Ezekiel said of a restored Israel, the trees of the field shall yield their fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase. And did God not promise a land flowing with milk and honey? CBN's Julie Stahl writes, it appears God has delivered on that promise. Despite the heat, humidity, and limited resources, Israeli cows produce more milk per year than cows in the United States, European Union, and Australia. The aforementioned kibbutz Yotvata is the largest milk-producing facility in the country. They were mocked when they said they were going to raise cows in the desert heat. It was an impossible task. By 2008, they were churning out 62 million liters of milk per year. Stahl claims that ancient honey came mainly from dates. She writes, today's Israel's dates are still famous throughout the world. Israel exports some 12,000 tons of dates each year to 20 countries. The kibbutz movement is largely to thank for Israel becoming a world leader in agriculture. But it's not without controversy. Socialism is a failed economic system. The kibbutz movement was great when Israel's existence depended on it. But would it survive? I'm going to let you know in part 2. Make sure you go to God.TV/Zion so you never miss an episode. And you can find me at roncantor.com. Shalom from the very first kibbutz, Degania.
Please follow Ron on Twitter and Facebook at Ron S. Cantor to find out more about Ron and his ministry. For more information on GODTV and the Out of Zion programs, or to view these programs again, go to god.tv/Zion.